smiley face, no emojis. Oh, he's not responding to me. I just sent him 5 texts in a row. He's not responding. Oh my god, he just declined my face call. We're broken up. We're broken.
Oh my god, if I run the same time in the 400 one more time, all I do is practice hard and try to run a faster time. I keep running the same time.
I'm always so worried about trigger when I should just be focused on school and things. Like, I feel like my relationship's just taking over everything.
Oh, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's just more like guys are more focused on sports and just like goals and their achievements and what they want to do. And, like, girls are always caught up in their social lives and their relationships and all that emotional stuff. Do you feel like that's true?
I mean, yeah, wait! Let's collect some data. So the focus question for this study is whether or not males' priorities are more goal-based, like academics and sports, while girls are more relationship-based, like boyfriends and their friends and their social life. Our population for this study was Groves High School. I randomly chose students from all of the grades and then categorized them by gender. Then it was time to go to Facebook. So I used Facebook to send the survey to all of the students that I randomly chose. In the survey, I asked the students to rank 4 things, 2 of which are goal-based and 2 of which are relationship-based. Finding your true love, excelling in sports and other activities, having a great career, and having loyal friends. Change the data into 2 separate tables showing how many of each gender ranked each category in each place, first, second, third, or fourth. So you can look at that here. These bar graphs illustrate the gender differences in proportions of people that ranked each different category as number 1. The top row shows that a higher proportion of boys ranked the goal categories as their number 1, while the bottom row shows that a higher proportion of girls ranked the relationship categories as their number 1. These 4 bar graphs illustrate the gender differences in proportions of people that ranked each different category in their top 2 of importance. So you can see in the first row that a higher proportion of boys ranked the goals categories within their top 2, and on the bottom row, a higher proportion of girls ranked the relationship categories in their top 2. At this point, I conducted multiple 2-proportion Z tests in order to determine whether or not the proportion of each gender that ranked each category as number 1 or in their top 2 differed. For the first 6 tests that I ran, these were the hypotheses that I used because I wanted to determine whether or not the proportion of each gender that ranked each different category as their number 1 was different, or if it was the same. For this second set of tests that I ran, my goal was a little bit different. I wanted to determine whether or not the proportion of males and females that ranked each different subcategory in their top 2 was the same or different, because I felt that knowing whether or not they placed it towards the top, not just at the very top, would really help me determine whether or not there was a difference in importance between genders. First, I had to check the assumptions. I met the randomization condition since I randomly chose students from the school using the yearbook and things, but I have to stay cautious because my sample was a little bit over 10% of the population. For the sample size condition, I almost met it, because all but one of the categories that I ran tests on had counts above 10. So although it was almost perfect, we have to stay slightly skeptical with the results. After the 8 2-proportion Z tests that I ran, I found that only 1 proportion difference between genders was not significant. What this meant was that for one of the tests, the p-value was greater than 0.01, so we were not able to have enough evidence to conclude that the proportion of boys who ranked sports number 1 was higher than the proportion of girls who ranked sports number 1. Out of the other 7 2-proportion Z tests that I ran, I got p-values that were less than 0.01 for each one. So that meant that they were significant at the 0.01 level. What this meant was that we had evidence to believe that the proportion of boys who ranked the goal categories as number one or in the top two was higher than that of girls. And we had evidence to, on the contrary, believe that the proportion of girls who ranked relationship categories as number one or in the top two was higher than that of boys. I constructed 90% confidence intervals to predict the difference in proportions for each different category with the specified ranking. The intervals with positive proportions imply that the boys rank those higher, and the ones with negative proportions imply that the girls rank them higher. For example, I'm 90% confident that 0.305 to 0.498 higher proportion of boys would rank careers number one than girls. So that's how these break down.
Philip, what does this even mean?
Basically, since we got significant results for all of them except for sports being ranked number one, and even though that was close to the cutoff, this means that girls seem to be more focused on their relationships while boys are more focused on their goals. So next time you're all stressed about Trey, even though you can't change the way you think, just keep in mind that maybe it's linked to your gender, and the same goes for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get it now.